What is up, guys? So as some of you know who follow along on Facebook, the community posts, stuff like that, I recently made an action figure of Jesus. And of course, the primary reason I've made this is for episode 4 of God's Last King. That's the current plan for it. Also, of course, future parts in the series throughout after episode 4. But episode 4 is the first appearance which is planned for this action figure. Actually, a fun fact, before I decided to actually start producing God's Last King, I had considered making a bunch of action figures of different saints and stuff, St. Peter, St. Paul, the apostles and all that kind of stuff. And I actually thought about animating different Bible stories or gospel events and stuff. Bruh. As I was saying, I also thought about animating different gospel events, biblical stories and stuff as well. And I guess in some way I will be doing that because I plan to have sometimes flashbacks of You done? Cool. Normally I don't have the window open during these kinds of videos, but right now it is super hot outside, and so for the sake of physical well-being and health, I do have the windows open. So forgive me if there's a bit more background noise than normal. Anyways, I do plan to have biblical flashbacks and stuff like that in the series, so I will still be doing that a little bit, but through the lens of the God's Last King series, not just a Bible series or anything like that. You know what I mean? Now, when I say that I made this action figure, don't misunderstand me as in I sculpted it out of clay and baked it and I sewed the clothes and all that. No, I'm not out here doing those kinds of things, okay? At least not right now. Maybe in the future I will, but I don't do that right now. What I did was kit bashing, as talked about in my video, Kit Bashing 101. I bought different parts online, mainly I think only from eBay I bought stuff this time. From eBay, I bought different parts and put them together to make Jesus. And in this video, I'm gonna basically tell you how I made this action figure, what I did to get the parts for it and what parts I chose and why I chose them and stuff like that. And at the end, I will show you, how do we say, green screen, photoshopped, photo edited action figure versions of paintings and drawings and stuff that have Jesus in them, because I think that is fun to look at and to see an action figure version of a Jesus painting or what's not. And I do actually plan to have some of those paintings and images in the God's Last King series. How there's paintings on the wall and stuff. I will be using these for some of those sometimes too, just to create more of that immersion that this is an action figure world where even the painting of Jesus is an action figure, And of course, as usual, I will leave links in the description. If anyone wants to, buy this head sculpt or buy this robe or anything like that, I will leave links in the description for you to do so, okay? So let's get started. So first we have the sculpt, the head sculpt, right? This is, of course, probably the most controversial part for some reason. A lot of people are really obsessed with Jesus's racial appearance. But I chose this face because it looks Middle Eastern, and it also resembles, in my opinion, the Shroud of Turin, which is the shroud that Jesus was buried in when he died, right? And on that shroud, you can see his facial structure, how long his hair was, how his beard looked generally and stuff like that. But you can't see skin color, hair color, eye color, any of those things. And of course, those things don't matter either. But if you want to know what Jesus' face looked like as far as his facial, let's say a black and white image with no color, that's kind of what the Shroud of Turin would give you, right? So I think this looks pretty awesome. It looks a lot. When I look at it, I'm yeah, that really works as Jesus. A lot of people suggested many different sculpts. I posted in a group on Facebook asking people for suggestions of what faces they think would work well for a Jesus action figure, and I got a lot of suggestions. Some of them I didn't really like, but there were really just two. It boiled down to two options, which was either this one or a Leonardo DiCaprio one. And the Leonardo DiCaprio one looks pretty good as well. I won't even lie, it looks pretty solid. I was actually very torn for a while between the two of them, but ultimately I chose this one primarily because it just looks Middle Eastern, you know, it like, looks like a Middle Eastern person, you know, and of course Jesus was Middle Eastern, so that's kind of what I prefer to have as the depiction, right? That's not to say there are not European looking people in the Middle East or you know, African looking people in the Middle East. There certainly are, but of course the dominant how do you say, stereotypical, most like average general Middle Eastern look is perceived to be this kind of look, you know? And this head sculpt is from a Persian archer action figure. I don't have the actual action figure. I just bought the head by itself on eBay. And of course, you know, I love rooted hair, so I had to get that rooted hair. It also, the hair is removable actually. I can actually pull this off. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, so the hair is actually removable, and there's a bald cap you can put on there if you want to have a bald-headed person. Now let's move on to the clothes. So these clothes, of course, are also from eBay. And they are not historically accurate, okay? Because these are supposed to be ancient Chinese Han Dynasty clothes. And the main difference I've noticed between like a basic Middle Eastern robe and the ancient Chinese robe is these extremely long sleeves. You see, these sleeves are super long. I don't usually see sleeves this long depicted in like, you know, biblical art, or people in the Middle East don't really wear sleeves like this. Sleeves, you know, in the Bible or in the Middle East and stuff typically are like more, you know, normal size sleeves like that. But I don't really mind the long sleeves because this was honestly a very beautiful garment, and I didn't find anything else online that I felt really had just a holiness or an aura of majesty to it, you know? And so this was, I think, a very good choice. I definitely would have liked to have like a more, how do we say, basic or poor looking robe for certain scenes, but I didn't find anything that I really liked or I thought fit Jesus perfectly. So I just decided to just go with this, and I'm totally fine with it. There's only one downside to this garment, is that it is actually semi-transparent. So depending on how you're looking at it and stuff, if you look, it's really difficult to see though. I mean, if you look really hard at certain parts, you can kind of see through the garment, which I don't particularly like, but it's so difficult to see through it that is not really an issue for me, you know? And the garment is made of, I believe there's 4 parts to it. There's like a shirt underneath that you tie like a little belt around the waist. There's kind of like a dress. Then there's a blue robe, a transparent blue robe, or yeah, a semi-transparent blue robe. Then there's a belt. You see the belt here that goes around the waist, right? And then there's a semi-transparent white robe, which is this that goes on top of the blue. So it's actually not a blue garment. It's just that the white garment on top is semi-transparent, so you see the blue underneath, so it looks blue overall, right? And of course, when it comes to the color of clothes for Jesus, there are so many paintings with different colors. You know, even icons have, some of them have brown robes, some have blue robes, some have red, purple, maybe there's green as well. I definitely saw some blue. So the color didn't ultimately matter to me that much. I just wanted something that looked nice. It looked holy. It looked like something I would see Jesus wearing, generally speaking. Now let's look at the shoes. So his shoes, I know you probably won't really see them that much in the series or in general, but he does actually have some like ancient looking sandals, right? These are actually pretty cool. I like them a lot. They look like ancient Roman sandals basically. And yeah, the only downside to them is that the holes for the pegs were bigger than the pegs for basically any action figure that I actually own. They all fit kind of loose in the pegs. So what I had to do was actually had to put some metal wire around the peg to make it fit a bit more snug and not be as loose and wobbly. But if you just look at his feet there, they look pretty awesome. They look like Bible feet, you know? Bible feet, bro. So yeah, now just sit back, relax, enjoy this little slideshow with some beautiful music. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you, the song I chose for this slideshow is called Dominus Vobiscum, and it is honestly, I think, the most beautiful song or melody I've heard on earth. It sounds like angels are singing, you know. And I'll leave a link in the description for anyone who wants to actually listen to the entire song, because I won't play the entire song. The whole song is like, I think, like 4 minutes long. It's like just only like a minute or so, but the song is just absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend it. It's just lovely. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, like, comment, tell me what you think of the action figure. If you've made your own Jesus action figure, for example, tell me what you decided to do that may be different from mine and stuff like that. And also, if anyone knows of biblical clothing 1/6 scale, like online somewhere, let me know, because I'd be very interested in that. Because as I mentioned, this is ancient Chinese clothing. This is not like ancient Middle Eastern biblical stuff. But if you know ancient biblical clothing, let me know. Anyways, once again, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. Enjoy the slideshow.